one big part. Yo, good evening. It's Monday and it's Airfix and Chill. Good evening and welcome. And first off, a quick hello to everyone that's in the chat. And I'd like to introduce you to Dirk, who we all know as Out92. Nice to welcome you on board Airfix and Chill, my friend. Down there, he is.
Hi, guys.
Do not worry. We'll treat you gently. And I'm sure that the panel will treat you gently as well. And also, we've added to the Airfix and Chill gang, just to smarten us up a little bit, Ian from Small Scale Futures. Good evening, Ian. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Good. Nice selection of Airfix kits you got behind you there, isn't it? Is it Airfix?
They're actually mini art.
Oh, they're mini art. Are they crumbs? Mini art. You're a mini art boy. You won't go into mini art.
Not your favourite.
No, they're not. Definitely not. But we welcome all sorts on this channel. It's not partisan. You can use whatever.
Something for everyone.
I was just claiming, it's I just saw red and white, and I just assumed it was there. So, but anyway, so we've got two new members tonight on Airfix and Chill. Obviously, we've got Alex from Man Models Moments. We've got James from Taboli Go Model Works, and we've got the heavy metal modeler John Alec. Hopefully there'll be others turning up. I think Zinzan expressed that he has internet issues again, but he will pop in as soon as he can. I've not heard from Sully or Nigel, but they just pop in when they can. Luke can't attend tonight either because he's working. So between the six of us, probably some others will pop in during the day, which will be good. Yeah. Now, one person who's missing tonight is Altitude Hobbies. Brett, we last week he couldn't attend because of an emergency, and this week he said that he won't be able to make Airfix and Chill for a couple of weeks, but as long as you want off, Brett, because sadly last night his wife passed away. So from all of us here from the Airfix and Chill family, Brett, we send our sympathies. We send our thoughts to you and your family, and we have no words other than to say that if you need us to chat to or anything, just hit us up here, and we just wish that you and your family grieve, and that you find peace with all this, as it's quite sudden. So. But as again, from Airfix and the fact that the Airfix and Chill family, we think about you, and you're in our thoughts and deeper sympathies. Right. Anyways, we've often said on Airfix and Chill that if you have a question or you feel that there's something that should be debated or talked about in the scale model realm, to come and send us your questions or things you think we should be discussing. And Julian tonight, 2 days ago, came up with a brilliant thing to talk about. And as you know by the title, it's the relative cost of modelling, or in particular scale modelling, not catwalk modelling or anything like that. Talking about scale modelling here. Maybe I should change the title, I think. We'll pick up the question that he sent me because I think it's very interesting. So this is it. The relative cost of modelling. A few times the absolute cost has become discussed, but not, I think, the cost as a percentage of disposable income. Disposable meaning what's left of take-home pay after the essentials are paid. For example, prior to decimalisation in the UK, the average cost of an Airfix model was 1 shilling. The average weekly pay before stoppages was £14, 2 shilling and something pence, I guess, or monthly was £56, 8 shillings and 0 pence. I think that's what he's trying to say here. But if I'm wrong, let me know.
Julian, you're out.
Yeah. So that leaves. So basically, average rent was around. So gas electricity alone was £44. Average rent was £4, 11 shillings and 0 pence per month. Food was £7, 5 shillings per month, leaving £3, 5 shillings per month. So let's say disposable income after odds and sods was £2 or 40 shillings. As a percentage, an Airfix kit was £2.50. Whoa, God, that was a hard one. Now then, now we're talking now. The average current cost of an Airfix kit is circa £40, which we'll discuss. I think that's a bit rich, but we'll go into that later. Average monthly income is around 2.5 grand, which I think is about right. If you've got to average out, I think £2,000 is about right. Damned high if you ask me. Probably includes very high earners, but average rent is £1,348 a month. Gas, Lecky's £200 a month. Food, £182 per month. Disposable income then after other odds and sods, £600. An Airfix kit costs 6.67% of disposable income, over twice what it did in the 1960s. So he's done his maths. Now it's up to us then to break it all down. Now, quick going over. I've got here a price list of Airfix kits, okay, from 1978, and it's my little Bible, really. How many times have I gone back to this on Airfix and Chill? And I can tell you that it goes in series, okay, series 1, series 2, all the way up to series 20. Now, series 1 kit were 40 pence, okay, going up to series 7 kits. Series 7 will be £2.25. So I think we need to judge on that. How much is a Series 7 kit now? Because I think a Series 7 kit's around about 30 quid, isn't it? 35 quid. But if you're talking £2 back in the day, you were looking around Series 6. Series 6 about £1.85. But if you had Series 20 kits, they were £9.25. And that was roughly like your big 1/24 scale. If I just have a look at series 10, series 20. Oh, basically, series 20 was for that 1930s Bentley blower. That was a series 20 kit. Series 18 was the 1/24th Hawker Harrier and the Stuka. And then the series 14 kit was North American Mustang and the Hawker Hurricane, and series 12, which would cost you £4.35, was the Submarine Spitfire and the Messerschmitt 109. So, giving you some sort of idea there of quotes and prices. So, a series 1 kit, a series 4 kit, which I think is your bog standard 148. Is that right? Series 4 is 148. I think they're going in around about 25 quid as your starting point. I think the EE Lightning was about 24.99 when it was released in 148, maybe a bit more. But back in the day, it would be £1.15 if they had released it back in before decimalisation. So, £9.78 is £65.99 today. That's the equivalent, isn't it? Yeah, I think you're right there. But is scale modelling getting more expensive? That's really what we're looking at. The cost of the model kit itself. So open up to the panel. You let me know what your thoughts are. Go. Put your hands up, talk, whatever.
Well, just on the average price of an Airfix kit today, it's not £40.
No.
And I can tell you exactly what it is because I've got the current price list, obviously, as part of the shop. And I just did an average of all the available kits at the moment. The average is £24.47. So 25 quid.
Yeah.
So, using that in the maths, you're coming out more like 4%.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the cost of the 60s kits was a little bit underrepresented there. So it has, I think, got a little bit more expensive in terms of the bare kit.
Yeah.
You've got to look at, I think, what do you get for that money. And what you get now is more than twice of the kit than you got back in 1960, whatever, or 1970.
Yeah.
So you might be paying a little bit more in terms of disposable income, but I think it's maybe like 1.2 to 1.5 times as much. But you're getting a lot more for that, a lot more parts, a lot more detail, a lot more modeling. So
quality.
factoring that in, I don't think
Yeah.
it's really got more expensive.
No.
Obviously, you can spend what you want on modeling, but
Yes.
that's a different story, right?
Decals, I think the most biggest improvement throughout it all is the decals. Look at those kits from, I go to a scale model show and I see the vintage, the older boxings of say 1990s decals, and you'll put the box and they're yellowed, and that you're going, that they're not going to be perfect. I like to think that if I open a box in 10 years' time from the new decals, I think they're going to be nigh on perfect, especially those cartograph ones. I think the thickness is better as well. I think they've got the right balance. They're not too thick. They're just about right. And we know, and Airfix have said this on numerous occasions, one of the biggest expense of releasing a vintage classic is that the decal sheet costs more than the plastic in the box. Because they give you cartograph decals. I think all told, we'd have to look at part count, I guess, Alex, as well, wouldn't you? On a say you got the Spitfire Mark One going back from 1970s release. Look at the Mark V, the latest one they've released, the Mark V, not the starter set version, the original version. It must be double the parts. I'm thinking, you would normally get away with 20 parts. But now there'll be about 40, 50 parts. They'll be on one sprue. It'd be on 2 or 3 sprues now, wouldn't it? And you get choices as well. If you want a different source, different prop, they do add it, do they? Interesting.
Well, I think I'd look at the something like the Hawker Tempest 5.
Yeah.
So I know quite a few people have built it.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of parts. Then you compare it to even the Matchbox version. Again, did the Tempest 2 as well. So you had additional parts there, but you didn't have as many parts that you got in the Tempest.
Yeah.
And going back even further, I had the Revel ones. The first kit I actually built was a Hawker Tempest by Revel in 1/72. And that didn't have as many parts.
It wasn't a bad kit either, was it? It went together quite well.
It was a lovely kit.
Yeah.
Horrible silver plastic, though. Silver riveted plastic, though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Nan allowed me to get some glue.
Ian, do you see a difference in pricing from when you started till now, or is it something?
I was going to say, I've been building since. I'm in my 60s now. I've probably been building over 50 years, and it's relative to what the thing says relative cost of modeling, but it's relative to other pursuits. I mean, if you think the way other things gone up, somebody mentioned to me the day about going to a football game. I'm not really into football, but if you get a ticket for the match and then you go out and you have a few drinks and everything else, and you well out of pocket by probably over £100, and that's for one game, and they might not even win. So it's about you've got the kit, and then you've got that for however long you want to spend building it, and then you can keep it, you can sell it when it's built, whatever you want to do, So I think as a hobby, it is value for money. It just depends, as you said, how much you want to spend on a kit, really.
I was actually just quickly, just as a sidetrack, I was actually quite not worried, but very, very surprised on what a child spends on a game like Fortnite. An online game, you're getting nothing but a graphic like a suit or something for your character and a couple of weapons,
And an elevated blood pressure.
Yeah, they're spending between £50 and £100 a month on a game like Fortnite, and all it is just bits. It's not, there's nothing at the end of it. There's nothing substantial. There's nothing that any monetary value apart from spending money on something that,
and that's before the DLC, right? Because then you have another 15 to 20 quid, whatever, for the DLC, because that contains the extra special bits that you want.
Yeah.
Or get told that you want.
But when it comes,
and that's before diving into the prices of graphics cards, because that's completely ridiculous these days.
Yeah, when I look at marketing, when I look at scale modeling now, I put it in my book. It was, for me, it was when I started. It was plastic, glue, few paints, put the model together, put it on your shelf, and that was it. Now I tend to buy diorama, grass, and everything that goes with it. I've got about 8 different model manufacturers of paint. I've got 3 different manufacturers of glue or cement. And it's I don't. The only thing going for scale modeling in the regards of for a hobby is that cost of entry is relatively cheap. For under £20, you can start building a scale model. And I say that not, a starter set, I've seen them between around £14 to £16. I know they can be £19 sometimes, but it comes with the paint, the glue, and the brush. And I say that a pair of scissors and a pair of and a couple of sanding sponges will knock you up to about 20 quid. And so basically you could start scale modeling from there.
I think you have to keep in mind that this is still a non-essential. It's a luxury project, right? It's not something that is essential for most people. It's not the essential bit to have in your life. Just like the video games is not the essential bit that you really need. Yeah. Maybe your kids think they do, but in essence they don't. If you look at it as a luxury item or a non-essential item and compare it to other non-essential items that you're liable to get, like for instance, this is not really a good example of non-essential, but everyone has one of these.
Yeah.
How much money do we spend on these?
Yeah.
And we usually get another one the next year. Except when you're an old fart, and then you do at least 4 or 5 years with the same gadget.
Yeah.
But if you balance that out to what you're doing with a hobby, you can make it as expensive or as cheap as you want it to do.
Yeah.
And that goes for both the purchase, for the extras, for the tools that you use, for the medium that you use, your paints, your glues, your whatevers. You can do it really bare bones and keep it really cheap. Or you can go all out, get all the extra bits, all the resin, all the aftermarket, all the glues, several sets of paints, whatever. The sky is basically the limit how far you want to take it.
Well, that's like everything, isn't it? It includes like your airbrush. You will start off with a £25 cheapy Chinese airbrush. I keep saying Chinese, that's wicked. I shouldn't say that. A cheap airbrush that's made in China, and then you will then upgrade yourself to a more expensive airbrush, but not until you've done your research. You've got to, and I think the best research is go to your local model club, tell them all to bring their scale model brushes with them, airbrushes with them, and try each one out and see which one fits you or suits you. And you'll get the Iwatas, the Gallerias, you get the harder guys, the proper harder guys with their Infinity. But yeah, definitely like that. But you were saying, Alex, just going back to your point there, which I thought was very interesting. If you're talking medium and average, the price is totally different again then.
Yeah, if you look at median, so actually Dirk made the point. Average, so mean price is all of the prices averaged. But that obviously, if you've got one very expensive kit, tends to skew things.
Yeah.
Whereas median, you put them all from cheapest to most expensive, and it's the one in the middle.
Yeah.
So it tends to get rid of the long tail ends, basically. And then it's a $17.99 kit. So, if again, that brings it down a little bit more. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that it is slightly more than it was in the 60s, but I think you're getting a lot more value for money wise. I think the hobby's got better, personally.
Yeah. Just that's interesting. The cost of entry is not £20. I'm just saying that the cost of entry, and if you really want to put it down to the bare bones, is an Airfix starter set with the glue, paint, and the brush. They can be £8, which you can get from an Audi deal, or £6 from an Audi deal. I think some of the cars are about £14 to £16, because they are reduced. I know Airfix them for 20, and they knock off a tenner and everything. And you can go to Home Bargain and pick up a set of emery boards for 79p. And you can and a craft knife, if you even use a Stanley knife, you can pick them up for just under £3 or £4. The Exacto one.
And that's a vicious plug for the shop, Moss. I sell a model tool set for £12.
Yeah.
Aldi starter kit, that's £20.
The Airfix one, the Humbro starter set modelling kit, which comes with sticks, is it's twice the price of what it should be, is my opinion. But if you really wanted, in my book, I actually did a breakdown, didn't I? Because I was looking at cocaine at the time, wasn't I? And the price of cocaine per gram, and so the price of cocaine per gram was about £80. And you could break down, giving up cocaine and doing drugs and just doing modeling kits instead. So and I think once you bought a decent kit and you did buy a decent set of sprue cutters, which even if you use AliExpress or Amazon, you could pick up those blue handled ones. What are they called? Is it Plamo or whatever it is? Is it Plamo or whatever it is? And you can pick them up just under £5, and they do a good enough job, But I'm a traditionalist anyway. I don't believe in cutting up from the sprue gate to the part. I will always go just slightly off and finish off with a sanding stick. That's how I look at it anyway. So, yeah. But 129. I wrote it all down in my book here. 129. What was it then? It was cost of a gram. And I said, so could I get, if I had £80, which is what the cost of a gram of cocaine is on the street, is £80. Could I set myself up to be a scale modeler on that sort of money? And 20 pieces of sanding sticks, £8.99. Tamiya extra thin from Amazon was £7.68. I know it's on the rich side, but it comes, But we had Tamiya extra thin.
Yeah, that was when there was a shortage of Tamiya extra thin moss.
Tamiya masking tape, things like that. Tamiya masking tape was about £4. Pack of tweezers, Humbrol Deco Fix. It all comes about £78, and I thought it was good. But from the bare bones, you can't go far wrong in a starter set. Anyway, I see Nigel's popped in. Hello, Nigel.
Hello.
Where's your caterpillar?
Gone.
You shaved your... It's all gone, is it?
Yeah.
God, you look like that Worms game.
What?
Do you remember Worms years ago? No hair. You got to host the Crystal Mates or something, are you, mate? What's your thoughts then, Nigel, about the cost of it in relative to when you first started? Do you think there's a lot of difference in price for the starter set and the kit? everything.
I personally think kits are probably cheaper now than they've ever been. I've got some old magazines. I've got 2006, 2007, 2009. You know, and
You've been to the loo. Be honest, Nige, you've been to the loo to get those magazines.
yes, there's an Academy 148th Super Stallion there. We all know that kit, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in 2006, so 19 years ago, that was $49.99. How much is it today? Probably $49.99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think what you were earning in 2006 compared to what you're earning now?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's I think it's cheaper now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
But
Dotty.
Airfix Concorde, 1999 in 2007.
Not only that, but you have more outlets available to you to get the stuff in the first place, which you didn't have 20 years ago.
How much you say that was?
Moss, the 7 Class Lifeboat's just been re-released. How much is it?
Oh, hang on, Airfix.
Because in 2007 it was $16.99.
Well, that Aaron class one. Oh,
No,
7
the
class.
7 Class.
Let's have a look, shall we? Lifeboat. Right, so the 7 Class Lifeboat is £39.99.
Wow, it's $16.99 back in 2007.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying about Tamiya holding their prices. You know, I'm always saying about that.
Yeah.
In 2007, the 1/350th USS Enterprise was $122.99, and it's only about $149.99 now.
Yeah.
This is what I'm always saying about Tamiya. In fact, I've just been watching some stuff from Spielverse, whatever that is, a toy fair, and Italeri and Revell on their stands. All they've got is a load of old re-releases, and I'll bet the price is up there.
Yeah.
I've got some Phantoms that they did back in the days when it was still ASCII, and I have the price tag in guilders. That's guilders, so €3. Those were between 15 and 18 guilders back in the day.
Yeah.
And they're now, what, 22, 23 euros?
Fuck.
Wow.
What's the difference?
That's twice as much.
Twice as much.
Basic, on average, you could say there's 2.2 guilders in a euro. If you do the calculation, which is completely senseless, but anyway.
But this is something I repeat nearly every week. It's like that Tamiya Panther 35th scale. It's like $14.99. It's been $14.99 for the last 15 years, 20 years. You know, and this is what Tamiya do. But the other manufacturers just seem to keep edging up and up and up and up.
I do wonder though the price of the plastic. You know what you know
as a raw material, you mean?
Yeah, it's plastic comes from oil, and the barrel have gone up, hasn't it? You know, does that make any difference?
It hasn't gone up though, because just as a reminder, we about 15 to 20 years ago we had that particular bit with 15 years ago. We had that particular price hike in oil prices as well, where you paid almost £2 a gallon or €2 a litre, which is basically the same that we're paying these days. So has it really gone up?
And the cost
it's a volatile market product anyway, because it's oil. Just depends on who turns open the tap or not.
I know we talk about the old 70s kits, like, you know, and Tamiya have kept the price around £17. Is there any evidence of them putting the prices up on any of their kits?
They have crept. What I like about Tamiya, if you take like Italeri, okay, Italeri will release an old 24 scale kit like that bloody Escort at 50 million times, and every time it comes out, it's gone up a little bit, it's gone up a little bit, it's gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
If you take the Tamiya 24 scale Subaru, if they still make it, it'll be like 1999, and yet their latest Nissan 400Z will be $59.99, but that'll stay at $59.99.
Okay.
Saying they don't try and fleece us on the older kits, which is
Yeah.
what some manufacturers do.
Yeah. I just want to put it out there, you know, like I was saying, you know, we see that, and you know, but surely the, you know, is it loss leading then? Doing it that way, I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I'm just trying to get my head around this whole thing of, you know, like Airfix obviously have put their prices up. They even announced the fact they were going to be putting the prices up just before Christmas. And the thing that made me laugh was, and I said this to a lot of people, that they got criticised for their pricing. So they would say they released a certain kit. I can't remember which one it was I was talking about, and it was going to be like $54.99 for this kit. It was the one, you know, the one that was released. I can't remember which one it was now. But then I said that actually they've all bitched at Airfix announcing this 148 kit in this price, but then ICM have just announced their Hampden, and they've gone a bit more richer with £54 for a 48 scale kit. So it's like Airfix set the standards of the price increase, and then everybody jumps up to meet them, if you know what I mean. But they take the hit because they're the first one to increase their pricing.
You've got to remember the exchange rates at the moment are a joke, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. Look at dollars. You know, dollars is...
I did a video today, and I talked about some new releases coming into Tiger Hobbies, and he's told me don't say the prices because he doesn't know what they're going to be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was a kit there that was going to be $105.99, and now he's thinking more like 120 because of the exchange rate.
Yeah.
He's buying $1 million.
Yeah. Well, I noticed this the other day when I bought something off eBay, talking about, about the cost of. See, it wasn't that long ago where it was like £1 was $2 to the US dollar. It was quite.
We talked about this last week, didn't we?
Yeah, the pound was up, but I noticed that a lot of things now that I'm buying from the States, I've got a 20% VAT added now on top of the price. So say for instance, if you bought from eBay, and I bought this Tamiya sign, and it was £32, it's cost me £19 to ship it. Then they added an extra 20% VAT on top of that, all told. So in the end, that thing that was 35 quid is now cost me nigh on £52. So you've almost doubled it. Yeah. See, people forget 20%. That's 20 pence in every pound that you spend is a tax.
Yeah.
And we were promised that when they all went tits up with the banks and everything, and that everything was crashing, that we put the VAT on top to 20 for a season to cover us while this is, and it would go back to 17.5%. It's never gone back. And you're talking nearly 10, 12, 15 years now, we've been at 20% VAT.
Never
if you want to increase the economy, cut your tax.
Dutch States probably knows this one. We still want our quarterback.
Yeah.
They raised the taxes only. Yeah, they raised the taxes with 25 cents back in, what was it, 2006 or so?
Yeah.
And they promised that it would be temporary, would get it back somehow, which she did eventually, indirectly. Yeah. But the prices never were changed back to their previous levels. You did get a discount on other things, but that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
And we know that, yeah.
We all know it. I remember in this country years and years ago when I was a little one, a bag of chips was 10p. We had a really bad winter and they had no potato crops. And overnight, a bag of chips went up to 25p. They never ever went back.
Never goes back down.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. If you want to see
then
something funny,
to...
if you want to see something really ironic about when you talk about that, the other thing is size of things as well.
Oh God!
If you want to see what a king size Mars bar looks like, watch the Vicar of Dibley episode for the Easter egg, when they did the Easter egg bunnies, wasn't it? That old joke, and the woman dies in it, obviously.
There's a word for that. You know that? There's an expression for that one. We call it shrinkflation.
It's called shrinkflation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. Dotty.
Benito, it's nice seeing you again at Scale Model Show, mate. Really great to see you. And we'll talk about USA. To do with principles, Japanese have made their money back many times over, so keeping the price down is giving something back. But Western companies, not so much. Who's got a dog, by the way?
Sorry, I'll turn my mic off.
It's all right. That's it. Because about Western companies, not so much. Squeeze everything they can. The thing about Tamiya and Airfix is that Tamiya is all in house. Their tooling's in house, so they haven't got the extra cost that like Airfix have. Outsourcing, Revell outsource, Mini Art outsource, Edard do it in house, but they do outsource quite a bit of it. Tamiya are in house. And then you've got all the ones from the electronics company, I Love Kit, Trumpeter, etc. They're all in house, and you can see a difference in that realm of things. But it's all about quality as well. Yeah.
Can I just ask while you're on that subject?
Yeah.
With Tamiya, something I've never understood: Tamiya Japan, Tamiya Philippines, Tamiya Irvine, California. What's the difference there?
Tamiya Irvine is a distribution center. Philippines is their factory.
Right.
That's what I've been told.
Designed in Japan, made in the Philippines, and distributed in America, but they own all the plants.
They own all of it, yeah.
Right, they're not subbing it out. Okay.
They're not subbing it out. The Philippines is their own factory.
Right.
Because cost of labor is cheaper.
The other thing I've noticed. Sorry, the other thing I've noticed, I don't know if any of you guys have noticed this, but nobody seems to be coming out with anything new anymore. We had this last week. Yeah. Tamiya, nothing. Nobody seems to be bringing anything new out.
It depends what you're looking at with Tamiya, because when it comes to the RC market, the remote control market, wow, they're bringing out some stuff there.
It's all old stuff, isn't it? It's all re-releases.
There's some new releases there. There's about 4 new releases, isn't there, for the RC market? I thought.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I make a point, Moss?
Yeah, go on, crack on. As long as it's relevant.
About Airfix, I'm always relevant. It's about
Yeah.
Did you know that Airfix have released 50 brand new tools since 2006 to replace their old tired molds? Can you think of any other company that's done that?
Yeah, Tamiya, not Tamiya. No, actually, I don't. Funny enough,
I'm talking about replacing old molds, not new tools for new things.
Are you sure about that? Because
are you sure it's 50?
Just done the research about half an hour ago. Yeah.
Wow.
50 new
tools.
Yeah,
it makes sense. Makes sense. They did have several older. Let's say, for instance, if you take Spitfires. Okay, here we go again. Spitfires. Spitfire Mark 1. The previous one was a 1970s kit, and they redid that in 2010 or so.
The oldest Airfix tool of a Mark 9 was 1958.
Yeah.
And they retooled the Mark 9 2016 or 18, I think.
Yeah, earlier.
I think if I'm right,
it's one of the first kits since they went over to the new one. But then there's the Mark 1 again, which is still in the catalog today. That's a completely retooled Mark 1. Yeah, that's a good example. And there are more. Hurricane, same thing.
Surely, if they were doing replacement tools for the old tools, they would release the kit as a new tool. Why would you not tell the world you've made a new tool?
Say that again, Nigel.
If what you're saying is all they're doing is making new versions of the old tool to replace one.
That's not all they are doing.
That's not what they're doing, because why would you do that? You'd make a new tool and tell a world it's a new tool. Why would you?
Well, for instance,
I don't know where this information is coming from, John, because somebody commented on my channel the other day.
Nigel, I think you're drawing the wrong conclusion.
You're getting the wrong
A
conclusion.
new tool of a previously done kit is just a new tool.
Yeah.
It's still the same airplane or tank or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I can't think of any companies that have done that and retired old tools to replace them with new ones of the same subject. I mean, Airfix released the Hawker Typhoon to replace that god-awful Hawker Typhoon they used to make in the 50s.
And the Tempest, which was a Heller Humble kit.
So I've got the wrong end of the stick then.
Because no, the original Typhoon was
the other day.
Hang on, one at a time.
Hey?
Nigel, go. You go, Nigel. So one at a time. Nigel.
£72 billion on tooling in the last 5 years. I just thought, no, they haven't.
That does sound like a lot, doesn't it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hang on, I know that it was a bit of a joke about Spitfire when it comes to Airfix and full kits. We just look, because I remember somebody said that there was only actually 10 Spitfire tools they've ever made. Somebody
possibly,
said
that's possibly true. If you include the 48 scale ones, that might not be true.
Yeah, that's right. Looking at here, when it comes to new tooling, Airfix, so like in 1955 they released the Spitfire. The very first Spitfire was 1955, which is a 1/72nd scale.
That was BTK, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then 4 years later they released another one, which was the Mark 9 as a 1/72nd.
Yeah.
And that was it for
until 1974. When they released the Mark 9B. That's right.
So like 15 years before they did another Spitfire. And then you
We're
had
going to start one out to on Mark 5 as well.
Yeah. And then you
reintroduced.
I'm not even talking about adapted tools. I'm talking about when they completely retired a tool and replaced it with a new one to sell the same aircraft subject, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they've done it with quite a lot. They've done it with the Dornier DO-17.
The Wellington.
Yeah, that's a new tool that didn't replace an old tool. That.
What about the Wellington?
They used to have the Dornier 17, the old pencil.
Yeah, but that's Dornier 17.
But they retired that old
Lancaster.
Yeah, but it was an older variant of the same aircraft, wasn't it?
Well, let's have a quick glance then. You got Mosquito. That was a new tooling when they retired the old. That's right, Spitfire. The Tiger tank went from what? The Tiger tank, the Sherman. There's two sorts for that one. Lancaster, they've done that, haven't they?
Yeah.
Flying Fortress.
The Flying Fortress.
And the Liberator.
Done that one. I'm just trying to think of the ones that they.
I mean, I've got the list here for everything they've retooled since 2006. I don't know if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Blenheim, Beaufighter, Defiance.
They did an
Typhoon.
They did Vulcan. They
did
Harrier.
Yep.
Go on, John. Start again. Say that again. Let me just move this.
They did a Lancaster, an Avro Vulcan. They did two Hawks in 72nd scale, both for Red Arrow retools.
Yeah.
The Buccaneer. The B-17G. The Chinook came out last year.
That was a hella kit.
Yeah, but it's been released, doesn't it, as an Airfix kit as well? But it wasn't retooled at all. You've got the Defiant.
B-17.
You got the Beaufighter, the Blenheim 4, the Liberator.
Call the Liberator, yeah.
The Cursus Hawk, which was really the Kitty Hawk.
Yeah.
The Tiger Moth. The Mosquito, the Skyhawk. The Douglas Dakota. English Electric Lightning. Typhoon 2 is coming out later this year. The Swordfish was released in 2012, and they did an FW190A8.
Yeah.
They did a Gnat, a Gladiator, a Wildcat.
Oh, yeah, the Wildcat.
They retrimmed 2 Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Harrier GR1 and a Harrier GR3. They
And
did
a GR7.
Smart 1.
Mm-hmm.
They did an
Yeah, but that's a
HE111,
completely new one.
Jet Promise T Mark 3, a Ju-87 Stuka.
Yes, they've done a few times, yeah.
Yeah, the last one was done in 2015. They did the Sherman Firefly. They did a retool of the Harrier GR7/9. They brought that beautiful Phantom 2 out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
They
Meteor
did
as well.
a BF109E, a BF109G6, and a BF110C, and a Messerschmitt 262A.
Yeah. That's a
Did you
good.
mention the B-17 yet?
What about
Yeah,
the
there's-
F2?
The was done earlier, yeah. They also retooled a MiG-15
Mm-hmm.
and the Zero.
Have they done that twice, Elena Zero?
They made an earlier Zero in the 60s, I think. It was an old
Did
series.
they
one.
now?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
They did a B-25 in 2018, and they released an F-86 F Sabre. They've done 3 retools of a Mustang,
Standard.
Tiger 1 tank. The Sea King came out originally in 2015. They did a Spitfire 5C new tool and a Spitfire Mark 1 and a Spitfire Mark 9C.
Wow.
A Wellington Big Mark 1, a Willys Cheap MB with trailer, and a set of World War II British infantry. And the only retool kits that did of older tools in 48 for the Buccaneer and the Spitfire Mark 5B.
Yeah.
Everything else is brand new.
The early Zero was a 1959 mold.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ancient.
See,
What about a case?
You can go on about the other
And
one.
they kept that one into what? Model setup would make it 2009?
But
Which
like I
one,
said-
sorry?
The old one.
Mm.
So
But
the new tool was in 2011, and the last release of the previous one was 2009 as a model set.
Yeah.
But like everything, like I said, the reason they've done a few other tools is because they never had it in their range. For instance, the Tempest was always a hella kit.
It was a Helicate, yeah.
Yeah, and now they've got their own Tempest out. Same with the Typhoon.
Yeah.
Then there was quite a few, and that's why I keep telling everyone next year is going to be Concorde. They're going to be doing a Concorde next year. They've got to.
Yeah.
They haven't
Like
got
to
one.
see it.
They've got to do a Concorde next year.
Yeah.
And a bear.
See, the trouble is that at the end of the day, Airfix know what sells. They've got the experience of knowing what sells, and they're going to release stuff. The trouble that Airfix have got, they haven't got the designers to design it all.
No.
I don't think it's monetary value that comes to if you do a new tool, they do a new tool. I don't think it's any of that. I think the reason they struggle with getting tooling out is they haven't got the good designers. Look what we've got at the moment. We've got Pramjit, you've got Ethan, you've got Millie, who's come over from Scale Electric. She was designing Scale Electric's cars before she's gone.
Oh yeah, she designed the Ford Fiesta, didn't she?
Yeah, she did that with James May's show. She was in James May's show. And I can't think of any other more designers. Chris has gone to Revell.
Yeah.
The one who did the lifeboats now working in designing nuclear power plants or something. Even now, Pramjit's done this year, Pramjit's done the Jaguar and the Artemis rocket. He's designed them too.
And to bring it back to the topic of the chat, a cat designer or a kit cat designer is not cheap.
No.
Because you still have to pay them the salary.
Yeah.
Which goes towards the cost of the kit again.
Well, I don't think that's an issue for Airfix. I think the money's there. I don't think they've got the designers.
No.
Well,
hence why
you need to hire.
It's also an issue doing the research of the kits.
Yeah, that was a part that Luke also did, which is now more left to the design manager, I think.
No.
And the individual designer of the kit.
No,
at least they know how to do it because Luke actually told them what to do and what to pay attention to. I guess. I hope.
Yeah, but they replaced Luke straight away. They've got a new researcher. He's standard. He's absolutely solid. And he designs
which is a good thing.
And he designs
which is a great thing
as well. He designs their decal sheets as well. He's undercover. You won't know him. You might have met him at a show, but you won't know
Jonathan.
him. Pardon? Jonathan designs decals, but this new guy they've got, he did the decals for the Artemis, and I think he done them for the Stalwart as well. But he's
also the one who made the choice, or at least made the decision to go for certain schemes in the coming series that's coming out. Let's say, for instance, the B17 and the B24 both have selections as far as decals go that are significant, right? They're going for the Mediterranean, they're going for Italy, they're going for North Africa. In very specific schemes, that's not the obvious choice that they've taken.
But those won't be down to individual designers. That
wouldn't be.
Yeah. I don't know. I suspect that this is something.
That's a business decision.
It's a business decision. Yeah. Now, listen. Did you know?
It is well researched. Don't get me wrong. It's well researched, but it's a very specific choice that I haven't seen before. It's not the usual.
Yeah, I've seen a similar pattern with Airfix when they started releasing the new tools.
When
they started doing things they were doing kits that were built at planes that were built at Dunsfold or flew from Dunsfold, like the B25 flew from Dunsfold. They had a certain theme for a few years.
All I'm going to say is that you know damn well that Airfix, if they had released that Sea King as an RAF rescue yellow Sea King, they would have sold it once and never again. You know what I mean? So they bring out. It was quite clever because, and also when a kit gets designed like they've done, they would have designed for about or thought about of at least 4 years of releases. So any kit that's re-released now after being designed in the last 2 years, that would have Luke's DNA over it. Because he would have gone through, like I said, when they released the Sea King, they went with one Sea King and they went through the 3 stages of its life. That's why it's got those three schemes, boom, boom, boom. Then they went for the King of the Junglies and that you know what I mean? There's that pattern. But
hopefully it hasn't literally got his DNA over it, Moss.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's it must have been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears when it comes to research these things because if you get it wrong, you go away with a bigger ripped arsehole than you did before. You know what I mean? Because that's scale modeling. You know what I mean? They were even scared about putting a maple leaf on the 124 Spitfire because somebody said it was red, somebody said it was green. So they put both on there just to cover their asses.
That's what Tamiya did years ago. That's what everyone does.
Yeah.
The Sea King, they did get it wrong. The 48 scale Sea King, the actual squadron badge by the door is wrong. It's the wrong symbol.
Yeah. Benito is absolutely right. There will be business decisions that are made with management to make sure they have the widest possible market. More Australian, US, Mediterranean, and Asia schemes are not a coincidence. Like I said, look at the releases of American releases that have happened in the last 5 years. Going back, Hellcat, Liberator. Look at them, and and markings. Even the Spitfire Mark 5C had American markings, didn't it? If I remember rightly,
Mark 9 came with American markings.
Mark 9.
And you'll know now that the Hornby distribution in America is ramped right up. You know, they're looking at every single market going. So whether it's Italy, you know,
they've acknowledged that they had problems with Australia as well.
It's not
getting kits out there on time.
But they are getting they're getting better. But then again, it's all to do with it's all to do with networking, isn't it? You know, and getting their distribution right. But you know, they do have their issues, definitely. But they're working damn hard. You know, it's not like the issues that Revell are having that they can't even sell to customers anymore. They're all Revell in the UK now, business to business. They don't do B2C anymore, which is good for the scale model shops. But they can't get around distributing Revell products direct to customer from their website. So they've got their problems as well. Revell, O2B's got the same problems as well. So, yeah, exactly. Don't forget the Vulcan research mess up. Things get through even with experts. It was amusing to say when they said lockdown stopped them, but Reddit thread existed in 2017. Yeah.
I mean, people are human. There are going to be mistakes. I mean, there is no industry that doesn't make mistakes. I mean, look at aviation, which is the most regulated, like it's the safest industry in the world, right? Like nuclear power. You know, it's so overseen, and yet look at all the problems Boeing have had.
Because it
I was about to say that. Boeing.
That was because it wasn't overseen.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Interesting. Fair enough. I see this acts as examples an ally in terms of World War II weapon systems. Yeah. These examples. Go on, mate.
I think the other thing to consider with Steve's, there's probably some sort of, for want of a better term, there's probably some sort of licensing involved as well. You're probably not allowed to just go and someone's scheme on a model and make it.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting one, because most of the markings, and especially the national markings, are copyright owned or trade owned by
Crown copyright,
nation state, right? So it's generally considered to be in the public domain.
Yeah.
The only bits, and Italy is a good example because I recently saw discussions for that one as well. They have their Italian kits marked with AMI, licensed product. If you check, for instance, I think the 339 is a good example of that one. And there are several other kits that are distinctly the new one, 205, the Macchi. That is marked with AMI in the corner. Aeronautica Militare Italiana.
Right.
That particular thing in the corner, with the crest and all that, that is trademarked. Not the entire Italian markings, but the thing on the box. That is trademarked.
Right. Because we were talking about this last week.
That is a discussion you often see online. Yeah, it's Italian. They trademarked the whole Italian screams. No, they didn't.
Because some manufacturers break up RAF roundels, don't they? Because they're not allowed to make them. They put the circle.
In what way?
They put the red circle separate.
They do that to basically misalignment.
Yeah, that's just to get them to keep them in register.
I thought we talked about this last week and it was a licensing thing.
No, it isn't.
No, basically, Nigel, it's basically the roundel was basically once upon a time they discussed it in government. They said no, piss off, Royal Air Force. It's Crown copyright for the roundels. So obviously it goes back to them putting them all the roundels at that time. The model manufacturers panicked and did a lot of the roundels then.
Right.
But the Crown copyright with the roundel was very specific to red arrows.
Yeah.
Markings and boxings and merchandise, not the national ID roundels.
Yeah.
That's the main difference. You can usually look up this in they have a trademark register, You can look the trademark registers up online if you want to, which I've done for the Italian one, hence the whole discussion. And there it says what is actually being trademarked as such, in which combination, which specific mention it is on the box, either in text or in graphics or whatever. That is specifically trademarked. So the roundel as such, as you see in every normal kit, you can't trademark that one.
Right.
No.
I know there's a lot when it comes to government because it's all publicly owned. Like if I wanted to live stream the House of the Parliament Commons or the House of Lords, I can do that without getting a copyright strike because it's owned by the people.
There is a difference between trademark and a copyright, because copyright is permanent, or at least for 70 years plus or 95 years plus, dependent on which jurisdiction you're on. It's mostly the same. A trademark is something you do very specific to a certain thing, like for instance the AMI logo on the artillery box, and that one you have to defend, or you lose your trademark.
That's interesting.
Yeah, lots of legalese, fun business.
Yeah.
So is that has a swastika got a trademark or a copyright? If it hasn't, we could just use it. Hey, somebody mentioned
the legal entity that should have the copyright on that one is gone. No more. It ceased to be.
Yeah. Just out of saying, it is interesting. Somebody brought it in a question on, emailed it to me or put it on the comments or something on Facebook that there's certain kits where they won't have the swastika on any evil axis plane. That's it. They won't have it. But on an American plane, then they have the swastikas to mark down how many they've shot down. There's a decal sheet with them to go on the side of the engine or on the side of the fuselage. How interesting is that? If you think about it, look at the kits that come out and the kill rate. When they, they got
it's a shame. My sister came over from Germany, minus my brother-in-law, because I'd have asked him, because he's better than Google with that regards to that, because he was in the government in Germany, so give you an official answer.
Most RAF kill marks were done with the black crosses with the white surrounds, weren't they?
The thing is, it comes down again to intent and context, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even in Germany, the swastika is allowed as a historical representation.
For educational purposes.
Yeah, exactly. So, you can have that debate endlessly, but if you want to put it on a social media platform, you have to play by their rules. So if you put it on Facebook, it'll be bad.
Does that apply to the Finnish roundel as well? Can't put that on Facebook or YouTube.
Finnish roundels backwards.
AI and the moderator.
Does it?
I mean, if you think most of these things now are AI automated, so if that picks up that it's a swastika, it'll probably. That's why you often have to ask
before we called it AI, it was just an algorithm.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The AI spot on.
And an algorithm doesn't understand intent or context. So,
the algorithm killed one of my videos on YouTube. I had a tank build progress video put up on YouTube, and it had the Panzerfaust music off Battle of the Bulge, and they struck it completely off YouTube. But you can watch the film. You can listen to it on the film.
I've taken down everything on my channel that relates to anything from those people in World War II.
Yeah.
And start with men. I've taken down everything. I'm not risking it.
Just want to point out Ray Aquilina has sent us a £10 super chat. Thank you very much. And we put these super chats and everything towards paying for the StreamYard software. But thank you again for doing that, my friend. And that's really
kind. Ray, I should point out, is a legend from Malta.
Malta, is he?
He's from Malta. Yeah, the only country to receive a George Cross.
The George Cross.
Mm-hmm.
Fair play.
Let's ask you something, James. The George Cross, is that the same as the George Cross?
George Cross, yeah.
Is that the same as the George Cross?
Yeah.
Because you're calling it the George Cross.
George.
Oh, blimey, governor.
Tomato.
Anyways, going back to the original question then, I think we've come to an agreement that scale modelling is just as cheap as it was now as it is back then, depending on how far you want to push the hobby. The same with everything. If you want to start playing golf, you go out, you buy, you probably borrow a set of clubs, go and try it. If you enjoy it, you might buy a second-hand set that you find on Facebook and then play with them for a while. And then all of a sudden you realise you're getting quite good at this. So you go out and buy a pair of Tiger Woods Nike ones for £1,000 and then can't hit a bloody cow's ass with a banjo with them. I get that.
That's not how it happens, Moss. You play a bit and you realise how terrible you are, and then you spend the money thinking that the course will make you better.
Yeah, that's right. You think this gallery brush is going to make you a better scale modeler? Yeah.
This is interesting. Look, even back in 2007, this magazine, they've got an ME109 on there. Notice there's nothing on the tail.
No.
And yet, I'm not going to show you on here, but the build in the magazine has got it on the tail. So for the front page, they've taken it off, but actually in the magazine, they've left it in.
I think that's a lot of the issue, isn't it? We're scared sometimes. Like I said, I've lost the video because of it had a swastika on the tail and on the decal sheet. And this was a video that I done 3 years ago. And all of a sudden now, I'm getting, less views than anything I can ever imagine. It's because of I'm being punished for something that I did 3 years ago. Yeah. So why am I on big screen? I want to get you.
I've not touched it, Moss.
I didn't realize
I've got my hands down here.
Yeah. Golf is a good walk ruined. Tell me about it. You know what, right? True story. Where just about 20, 30 miles away is where Nigel Mansell owned a golf course. And he never walked it. He would get in his golf trolley, fire away, and then getting back into it, go to where the ball is. He would never walk it. He would just drive it around.
Yeah, I've played that course, and it's bloody difficult. I was doing some corporate golf, and they have 4 tees. They have the black tees, which are about 100 yards behind the normal numpties tees. So given how far I hit a golf pellet, it took me a good hit and a half to just get to the fairway. And there's these characters I was playing with that are hitting their ball into bloody orbit, quite honestly, and landing 300 yards down. But it's an amazing place, And yes, it is very, very long. No question about that.
Yeah. Have you played at the links course at Westwood Home?
No, I haven't. No. I play twice a year, whether I want to or not. So
there's better things than playing golf. As I keep saying, when they go on about we want to get kids into scale modeling, we've got all the bits and pieces we need to get kids. Kids don't give a shit. They want to play Fortnite. You want to get the blokes before they get caught up in golf. That's the ones you want. That's the
interesting thing is that actually with quite a lot of modelers you see on YouTube, some of them you could call their airbrushes their set of irons because they've probably got about 10 of them.
I say no more.
Yeah,
I've got 10.
True story. My nan used to have a dog because my nan and my grandfather used to play golf. My nan used to have a dog. It was a Scottish Terrier called Whiskey, and he got banned from every golf course in Kent because he nicked the golf balls off the greens.
Well, there you go. Guilty as charged. Yeah, I think there's a lot of us that have quite a few golf clubs. No, we don't. We airbrushes.
I make a mistake of airbrushing my golf clubs.
I've got 4 different compressors. Saw a YouTube video of the German Panzer Museum on YouTube last days, where it's still disclaimed at the start and the video is still online. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like it's the contents of it. You know, the context. I was saying that it was a video about Revell reboxing a Tallery. That's what it was. And I said, look at this. This isn't it wasn't Italian, it was Italia when it had the big long name. And I said that, you know, this is when Revell have reboxed this, and it was a pleasure to build. And they just took that as, oh, it was a pleasure. So and this is what I'm getting from it, that they thought that I was bigging up the far right, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's
he was a chief grand knight of the.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a pleasure to imagine the 1,000-year Reich.
You're right. That is true, because I did have here somewhere the latest Corgi catalogue, and they do have swastikas on their past. Airfix is a different sport, because Airfix have been bitten with the last time Airfix got, if you want to look this up, it's incredible. Airfix was mentioned in the House of the Parliament because they had a blown out Afghan house from the Operation Herrick range. It was a resin, you know, and it was like a disused house, and it got brought up in Parliament. You know, oh, look at this, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, and they were scared. They you know, you can't still get them. They started selling them again, but they made a point saying, you know, we're promoting war. We're not promoting war. We're actually preventing war, I feel, because we don't want to go back there again. So, yeah, it's a bit like it. Right, Nigel Patterson returned to the hobby in after a hiatus of 25 years. A micrometer kit to make a decent needed so many tools and so much attention. I almost made you wish I could stand go.
Yeah, you're a braver man than me.
Yeah, jeez.
It's like those Mark models, isn't it? They named it Mark models because that's how quickly you throw it in the bin.
Mark 2 models. Yeah. Nigel likes those. If anybody wants to send Nigel a kit, Mark 2 models.
Mark 2 models.
They're much better than Mac 2.
Then Nigel, your VC10 kits.
Fucking piece of shit.
What was that kit you did, Nigel, that you ended up chucking in the bin? Which one was that?
The Mac 2 models VC10.
It was a VC10.
Yeah.
You're quite right, Rich. Back in the day, that's what it was. And then if you notice, over the years, the Voicross artwork got very sanitized. Very sanitized. And, you know, they digitally edited it so that, like, I think it was the Heinkel, wasn't it? It was on fire, and it was all on fire, and another plane was coming in to attack it. And they digitally altered the flames from the engine, so it looked like it was flying straight, and they got rid of the.
Well, I think the only plane that shows itself on fire is now was the first release of the new tool Vickers Wellington. There has a disclaimer at the bottom of the image that states that this is when this flight engineer won the VC, going out and putting the engine fire out.
Yeah, climbed out on the wing, didn't he?
Yeah.
But so you know, is it the Blenheim where they had the plane going away in the picture in the box art? They had the plane going up. Is it the Beaufort?
It's the Beaufort, new tool Beaufort.
But it wasn't on fire, was it? If it had it face on past it, they would have had to have it on fire because it would have been bombed. So that was a weird box art, that was, wasn't it?
That's it there.
Hey, that's it, John. Yeah. That's a weird box art. That it doesn't show very much of the plane at all.
No.
But you can see that if they did it the other way, it would have gone past that. No weapon being dropped, and that would have all been on fire. So yeah, it's that was a strange thought of that box art. It really was.
Yeah, we had a night on it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Unforgiving box art.
Unforgiving box art. Yeah. Why does it keep doing that all of a sudden?
I don't know. It must like you, Moss.
Yeah.
Look, no hands, not Moss. No hands.
That's right.
I'm not touching.
No worries. It's okay.
James has been doing magic lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that aircraft that you were talking about with a Messerschmitt 109 coming up behind it with the engine on fire was the Wellington.
Yeah. It's a Wellington, was it?
Yeah, Wellington B3.
Right, yeah. We need to preserve our history, yeah.
Is that the new boxing? You mean new box art?
What, the
Yes.
Beaufort?
No, from the Wellington.
New
The
box
Wellington,
art.
it's a
It
new
was
tool.
the second. It was
think,
the.
I think that's the one that is supposed to be over Kiel or Wilhelmshaven.
Mm.
The new
being
boxing.
shot up by a 109 G6, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's historically accurate. So
Flying over a river or something.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, both of the boxes are historically accurate aircraft because they've got Arthur Robert is the other one, which is the one I was going to do because I helped restore it. So.
Anyway,
well researched.
Rich and Leo are loving the new look. Nigel, it's taken 20 years off you, mate. Apparently, so. So what happened? Did you get like outlaw paint in your beard or something? You just thought I'll just shave it off, or you just fancy a change?
No, I honestly don't know, Moss. I shave in the shower.
That's easy enough.
Double shower cubicle. Other side of the bathroom is a cabinet. I could look in the mirror and shave. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for some God, I've had a goatee for years.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I went like this. I thought, what have you done? And I had to wave them. I couldn't leave it. I had to change it all off.
Oh no!
Yeah, Nigel ended up with a little tiny tash like that.
Yeah.
Do you do the dome of foam as well and go around here like with the old dome of foam? Oh, you go hairdressers for that, do you?
I go. No, I do my own. I clip my own.
You clip your own, do you?
Come on, if you had hair like
Oh, you really do look. If you put a black jumper on, Nigel, you look like the Harkonnen crew out of that ship that you made, the Ornithopter.
That's true.
He looks like a young Heston Blumenthal.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does. Yeah.
Not a recent one. I saw him recently, and he's put on a huge amount of weight.
I'll tell you something. Be careful. He's been diagnosed with bipolar, and when I watched him, I watched his thing about there's a group of lads, 2 lads, who went to his restaurant and they were trying out his ice cream that was made of crab.
I saw the same thing. Yeah,
he sounded like he's had a stroke.
We actually Googled that to see if he had, because the way he was talking. Yeah. But I mean, the food was incredible, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was almost like model making, wasn't it? The stuff.
That, yeah, definitely.
Sorry, where I'm going on a tangent, so trying to bring.
I know. Yeah. You're quite right, though, Alex. Nigel the infant. Quite a few of the recent Air Force box art has had aircraft being shot down or explosions.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you just got to own it. Own
the
what
return of the kaboom.
Yeah, you've got to own it, and also they always say you never judge a book by its cover, but you judge a model by the box art, don't you?
No.
It's simple. It's simple human.
A lot of people do, Nigel.
Never.
I know.
Yeah,
but if you knew the
seasoned modelers probably don't, but the
Well,
general.
as a former colleague put it, don't judge a book by its cupboard.
Yeah. No. But what my point is that look at the box art for the Stalwart. It just looks like a fucking man.
Yep.
That's all right.
That box art is great.
That looks like it was parked up on an airfield and you walk.
Absolutely nothing. Somebody's made a nice picture. That's all that is.
Yeah, but look at Trumpeter and Hobby Boss artwork, which is goddamn awful.
Yeah.
I think I've got one here, which is it looks like a 15-year-old's drawing it, as their failure to a
the worst box art I know of is this one.
With that large P40 in 32nd scale with the weird perspective one. That one.
They got some really bad ones, really bad examples.
The worst box art I've ever seen is Silvercorn.
Is what, John?
Have you never heard of Silvercorn?
Hobby Boss also did the A6 for the Intruder. where the box art is actually correct. If you look at the tail fin, but the kit is not.
Do you know what? Oh, sorry, E&M. The new Airfix Wessex box art is Paul shows the undercarriage in ground position not extended in flight look. Do you know what? I didn't notice that, mate, but that's a good shout.
Yeah.
But it does look good.
I wouldn't say it's poor. It just had a minor flaw.
Minor flaw.
I mean, if you're going to say it's completely unbuildable and should be tipped into landfill, you're slightly exaggerating.
But then again, saying that though, the Ferret Scout was wrong as well. If you look at the Ferret Scout, the first one, the Mark II, the box art's wrong on that as well. It's the wrong way round. It's the wrong way round apparently. So yeah.
Do you remember the box art for the BR Mughal, James? Do you remember the mistake on that one?
Which one?
The BR Mughal. Airfix did a locomotive, the BR Mughal, and its eccentric link was missing off the artwork.
Right.
Yes. Oh, because that was from a copy from the Kitmaster.
Kitmaster models, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you do it sales any on though?
Can you put me on full screen, please, Ross? Because I would like to show you a box art. Have a good long look at it, and you can pick fault in this. Hours. That is the worst box art I've ever seen.
That's lovely.
I mean,
that's an AI design box art.
American Flight Crew.
What's that? How did that get so close to
How close is the 109?
109.
Yeah. 2P40
under the wing.
It's unbelievably bad. It's terrible. I mean, what is that?
I know.
Hey, a Lincoln.
But look, I mean, there's only 109 there. But look at it compared to the site. It's like, where did that come from? I reckon it's wedged in his fuel tank or something.
There's two propellers there, one underneath the other, isn't it?
That's the propeller.
I think it's confused. I think it's a contra-rotating prototype.
That's the Lancaster. And that's the
the proportions are well out, isn't they?
It's awful.
Yeah.
Oh my!
And if you look even closer, you can spot that the flight crew are American.
Are they?
And the two planes coming in from the top are P40s.
Right.
Would that be right?
Yeah.
I'll see your Lancaster, Nigel, and I'll raise you an Su-35.
Go ahead.
Let's have a look again. Got it. Oh!
How about that? That's some quality, right?
Yeah.
Purple and yellow. Yeah.
That looks really like one of those French
F-15 kit.
pre-work things.
What the what's it called? One the top gun
cheap
one.
Kit. When you had the fad of getting the cheap kits from Amazon. God awful one.
I don't know what I've done with that one. Hang on. The F-15.
The thrust vectoring engines are particularly well done.
I just noticed that.
I think that needs to use the well-known water and salt trick.
There's that F-15 too. I had it up here somewhere. The F-15 somewhere.
Can I raise your bid, Alex?
Oh God.
Yeah.
When he puts me on large screen, I'll show you a silver corn kit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see where that F-15 is. It's somewhere. I'll get it down. Hang on. I don't know. I think that Warbird one was
There's a silver corn kit.
Oh my God.
That is just shockingly shite, isn't it?
It's not much better inside the box.
That is dreadful. Where's that?
I wish someone's got the Mr. Craft Sea Harrier.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful. You can see right through the engine intakes on that, can't you?
Yeah.
Not the engine intakes, the
No,
nozzles.
it's a GR1, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't see what I've done with that.
Terry, Moz is in Devlin. He's in the back end of Beyond. That is why they have that. No, because he's Moz on dial-up.
I'm not on dial-up.
Oh, that's a different view.
Yeah, I've got one for you. The Micromere Kalinin K12.
Oh.
Its camouflage is actually supposed to represent clouds.
Oh my god!
Or fish scales.
Yeah.
Looks like it
You do get a
belongs
decal
underwater.
sheet for that.
Interesting aircraft.
Pretty horrific as a kit.
Is it supposed to have its tail fin missing?
I think so. Yeah. Well, there's none in the box.
Never 100% sure with Micromere, though. Are you?
There's the decal sheet. She's just white.
Pop it up a little bit, Ian.
You can barely see it. It's like
There we go. It's just coming in and out of shot.
yeah. It just spins up.
You're out, shot up a bit.
There you go.
Pull the box up a couple of inches.
Exactly. So that's you get two decal sheets. That.
There we go.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Awful one.
But then again, like the Bearcat, they're always wrong from Trumpeter or Hobby one.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about the price of models, just be careful what you buy.
Yeah. Look at the box art.
Actually, it was interesting what you mentioned about earlier about the cost of kits. I don't know if you agree, but would you say that stuff goes up roughly 100% every 10 years?
Wow.
Because if that's the case, Airfix Series 1 kits are about the same price as what they were 70 years ago.
We're here now trying to do the math.
They were 19.5 pence in 1968, and now they're £9. £9? Yeah, £8.99.
Yeah, and actually some of them, like the vintage classics, I mean, I know the JS3 is completely wrong, but what is that, $6.99, I think? Something like that. So some of the old vintage classics are a lot cheaper as well.
I'm sorry,
so that's a direct comparison, really.
So I'm having to mute and unmute John Parker. He's got some feedback coming through. It's like he's next door to an airport. Like you can hear wind coming in. So I must send you that microphone at some point. Hopefully that
model jet engine he's built.
I hope my mic's got a fluffy bit on it this time, so it keeps it quiet.
I think what it is, John's integrated into his computer, you see, so I think it's picking up the fan. Yeah. That's what happened. So, because
it must be the jet flying inside this box. What is this?
Nothing worse than that. Airfix has doubled his price in New Zealand. I've seen 148th World War II fighters for equivalent of £50.
Oh, smart.
I don't.
The question is,
what's
that Airfix doubling the price, or is that the retailer or the distributor raising the price?
Yeah, and your taxes as well.
Yeah, but that's standard because they also have that in Australia.
Yeah. Film model making over 1980s Airfix 124th Airfix FW90 190 with the most bland, inspiring box art. But then the worst Airfix box arts was when they were the built models on pitches. They were fucking awful, weren't they? Look like this one. Here you go. This one here. This is prime example of how not to do a box art. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, that wasn't really that bad as box art goes.
No, it
So-
looks like
Considering the situation that we're in.
Yeah, but look at the finish of it, mate. It's dog shit.
But
That's the problem.
Yeah.
but at least you can see the model that you're buying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
true.
mean, that one that Alex had there, I mean, it might not be too bad a kit shape-wise, but the box art's disgusting.
No,
Yeah.
the kit, the box art accurately reflects the quality of the kit.
Oh, okay. One of those mini hobby kits, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, it is. It's an old trumpeter Reebok.
Yeah, it's
basically.
predecessor to Trumpeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was done to something to do with false advertising and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But at least you could see what it was you were getting in the box and what you could make of it.
But
Which
it's
is
sort
not
of
a bad
the
idea,
Tesco
actually.
blue stripe of packaging, isn't it?
Yeah, the blue stripe.
It's like, it's like buying a pack of sausages with like the picture of the sausages on them. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, but you do go to the other extreme as well, Alex. You can get this.
Hang on. I have both of those, actually. So that's a good example.
Yeah, but the Spitfire inside the box doesn't even look like a Spitfire.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
I think the best box art is goes to the Matchbox with their 1/72 scale Buccaneer, and it's dropping bombs. It doesn't have any sodding bombs.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. I was going to got a picture of that. It'd be on Scale Mates, wouldn't it?
That's what made
bomb-
it such a good
bombs
bomb.
from
Those,
the bomb bay, weren't they?
dimensional bomb
Yeah.
bays.
Let me go off and dive into the museum.
Trying to find it. Oh, you got it, have you? Oh, well done.
Is that the Marauder? Yeah.
It's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is actually quite a nice kit.
Is that another one they've reboxed recently?
No, they never retooled it, but they did
No.
they reboxed it recently.
They did rebox it several times because this is the original one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or one of the original ones. This is the infamous
Like
blueprint
1983,
box.
that one.
But it's not a bad box art if you really look at it.
Yeah.
It shows you what you can make out of the box. And then it also had the red box as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've never built a Marauder. Never built one at all.
It's a nice kit.
Yeah, never built one.
No, I did build a Marauder. I don't know what happened to it though. It miraculously
I'm keeping
disappeared.
the oldest one completely sealed as is, basically, because that's the museum kit.
Was that
And the
John?
blueprint box is going to be built. That's
Was that John Alec? You have no idea how we know so much about so many kits. It's amazing.
it is amazing.
Yeah.
It's really amazing the encyclopedic knowledge that you all have about different kits and who boxed, who did what, how it turned out. It's really impressive. It blows me away all the time when you guys are doing this. It's
Well, it's
Well,
just a shame
I-
you haven't pushed out any useful knowledge at the same time.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to do not ask me anything about mini art boxings and everything. I am naturally a collector of Airfix, not just model kits.
Never.
I look at a history of it, and
Yeah.
You're fixed now,
I-
you must.
I know it's sad. It is. I'm a sad bastard. I really am.
Moss has
Somebody's
even
gonna
got
do it.
Weebles.
But I do. When I look at a new tooling that Airfix have announced, the first thing that I do is go on ScaleMate to look at who else has reboxed it, and you kind of get into this pattern of, you always go over the same stuff all the time.
Yeah.
For instance, Ian, I can tell you pretty much that if you look up the new Lightning 2, Airfix announced one, Rebel's got one now, Tamiya's got one. We all kind of we see the pattern forming, and then you start to pick up, we know that Atari released one, and then Tamiya released the same kit, but then they now release their own. And so, you remember that in little things, and then you don't know it off by, when we start talking about these things, it all comes back up to the top of the pile, basically. Oh, yeah, I found this under B, if you know what I mean. So, but I think if you get into like the brands that you like, you'll start to remember these sort of things,
It's like you've got to look out, John, if you ever fancy doing a 12 scale Formula 1 car, stay away from Italeri, because they're generally old Protar kits, and if they were bad then, a lot of them had metal parts, and they don't have metal parts. They're awful. And to be fair to Italeri, they do what Revell do as well. They actually put pictures on the side of the box of the actual model built, and if you really, really look close, you can see it's a dog. So the newer stuff, the Bugatti, I mean, it's Italeri, but it's better. The old Formula 1 cars like the Renault, the Alfa, the Ferrari, the McLaren, they're all old Protar kits, and they are shit. They are awful.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. If you want a Formula 1 car in 12 scale, just get Tamiya, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say, when it comes to expensive model kits, I wasn't impressed with the prices of Italeri's kits that are coming out. They're quite pricey, aren't they? Was that the Lancia? Somebody put down it was 130 quid. With that new one, the HF, what's it called? The
Stratos.
How much is
that? HF Group 4.
Which one was it?
The Stratos HF Group 4.
No, the new one they're bringing out this year. The 120, whatever it was.
The 124 Fulvia.
The Fulvia, 129 quid. Yeah, 120 quid. 129 quid. Somebody quoted me the other day.
It's 24th scale.
For a 124th scale kit.
Allegedly, that's
$150.
Well, fucking Stratos is 230 quid. When you can go and buy a bloody Porsche 935 from Tamiya for 150.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be 129 euros. Somebody said that to me. I thought that would be
I'll tell you what, it was interesting. What I did notice today, if you go to that YouTube video where they're showing the Italeri stand, the models they've got built up on their stand, they're terrible.
Yeah.
They're like, some of them are brush painted and badly brush painted, and the 12 scale Stratos is a joke. All the decals are all peeling off, and it looks awful.
Yeah,
like Italieri are thinking they are like a Premier League club in football, but they're playing in the Sunday League. It's like they really need to work out, what they're doing and price appropriately, because they're releasing some old Eschi kits and stuff as new releases, and yet they're releasing that Fulvia 130 quid. It's like, well, you could be prepared to pay that if it was the best 124 scale kit ever and it was amazing, had working hinges, blah 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 blah. But it's not that. So,
but the trouble is, even if it has got working hinges and working suspension, it will be crap. It will be tiny pins that will snap off, and it'll all be floppy. That's the trouble. And I mean, I wrote a very, very constructive email to Italeri about that Stratos, about the bodywork and all the sink marks I had, and the terrible standard of molding. Like, it's like a 1980s kit. But I was very constructive, and I sort of said in there that I think the manual is bloody awesome, but they're the guy that did the manual deserves a pay rise. It's brilliant, but the actual tooling and the way the kit's designed looks great. but the actual standard of production is diabolical. And they've come back. They sent me another body, and yes, it's much, much better. I did find a load of problems on the bonnet, but they came back, and the response was, it was like listening to Keir Starmer. Our aim is to produce the highest quality and satisfy the modelling community or something. Fuck off. What sort of answer is that?
Did it end with the my father was a tool maker?
22 billion pound black hole.
My father was a tool maker. Change is coming.
Yeah. With respect to the foundations.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Tonka is a nice kit. Far better than Revell's.
But look at the price of
it. Even the clock's right twice a fucking day. A broken watch, isn't it? So
I think Italeri is a bit of a between a rock and a hard place, I guess. As far as I understand, they outsource their design work, so the cat work and the mold making, and also the plastic pressing. Everything is outsourced.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's possible to make you can
make it
or outsource their production. The decals are made by Cartograph. It's possible to do all of this stuff, but Italeri, if you think back in the 90s and 2000s, Italeri were sort of that mid-range. They produced a lot of new tools of a lot of interesting subjects that nobody else did, and they were kind of middle ground. They were reasonably priced. They were decent kits. They weren't the best. They weren't the worst. They went together okay, and you could put aftermarket stuff in them to make them good. But they were affordable. And that was their niche. But they've kind of gotten to this weird place now where they're doing this retooled stuff from ages ago and then trying to be this premium manufacturer, but without putting the effort in to actually become a premium manufacturer. So they're in this weird place. I think they would have been better off staying with, making good, decent, not stellar, but decent, affordable kits for the majority of the market, rather than trying to go this strange hybrid of high-end and old garbage.
Yeah, that depends on who you have in house to actually design the kits in the first place, right? A good example, another example of that one is these guys. Hasegawa had the same issue. Because the guys who actually made the designs for, as aircraft modelers probably know, the aircraft designs that Hasegawa made, the best ones were done in the late 90s, early 90s, late 90s, and then it dried up. And that was because the designers left, basically. They did not have designers. Plus, there was the old factor of the distributor in the US going bust. That's cost them a lot of money. So they lost an access channel, and they lost designers. And I think Italeri is having a bit of the same problem, actually, where they don't have their own designers. They don't have the strong points anymore. And that is where they are. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place, as far as I can see. So that's why they re-release a lot of their older stuff still. And every now and then they come up with a new kit. Whether that's good or not, that depends on who's doing the design work, whether it's proper or not.
Well, I think as Nigel said as well, it's the production quality, because that the Stratos, the 12th scale Stratos I got was fine. I didn't see any particular issues with the sync marks and stuff. The one that Nigel got was completely different. So it's that Airfix thing of you can't have that. Is it a good kit or is it a bad kit? It's if it changes from box to box, that's not a good thing. You want why a Tamiya consistently highly thought of? It is that word consistency. They are consistent. Yes, they have QC issues like everybody else, but they are far lower in incidents, and generally the quality wherever you buy them in the world, you can open Tamiya box and it will be the same as you can get it anywhere else, and it will be good.
But there is a premium attached to that, and that is not directly in cost, but also in sort of a limited scale of what they actually do.
But that's a business.
Look at
right?
it. yeah, that's a business model. But look at their Phantom, for instance, 148 Phantom. It's just the B, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
F-16s, it's just the C model, nothing else.
Yeah.
So they are high quality, but they are also limited.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same.
You also,
it's a risk reducing approach, but it is limiting.
Go on, Zinzan, you jump in. I want to take this.
And then, of course, the P38 is the weird one because that's the exception to the rule.
Go on, Zinzan, speak.
Yes, sir. It's the same in a restaurant. You've got a very high quality restaurant. You have a limited number of very well cooked dishes. Tamiya is exactly that. Limited number of very well cooked dishes. As for Italeri, I made a couple of them in the last few years. Haven't really come across a good one. I mean, I think, Alex, you had the same problem with your XB70 pretty much as I did. You have to put a great deal of work in to make it fit together even, that's the expectation people have. And I think to some extent this has to do with ownership of the molds and ownership of the systems. Tamiya have it, Italeri don't. It's kind of like that for me, really. In terms of cost, you've all said all this already, but I thought back to when I bought a Chieftain Mark V from Tamiya all those years ago with the rubber tracks. That
still got one in my stash. Wait to build. Yeah.
I'll probably get another one because they were great little kits. But I think when I bought it, it was $5.99, and they're $19.99 now. And you could say, yeah, but you're an old bugger, and that was a long time ago. But I mean, when you think about it, was the late 70s, maybe. Very late 70s, possibly. In this country, you maybe buy a house for about 4K, something like that. And the average price of a house now is what, 270,000, something like that.
Oh, I was just going to say, when it comes to the cost of kits, the elephant in the room is always going to be inflation. What a pound is now is not going to be what a pound is in 5 years' time or 10 years' time. Look at us now. What was a pound 10 years ago? Was it probably now about £2.50? So it's doubled in value, isn't it? So, and that's why.
Well, I can remember getting a Matchbox kit for 75p.
Yep.
And then I was contemplating how I was going to spend the rest of my pocket money on paints because Humbrol were 35p a pot. And would I get glue or not?
Yeah, but it's like Zinzan said. I remember when I bought my first house in 1982. The girl said, "Christ, you ain't gonna have a problem getting a mortgage. You earn nearly 10 grand a year."
Yeah.
The house was £19,000. Now that same house sold recently for 254.
So that would make that same Matchbox kits for 75p £7.50.
And Revell are just re-releasing some.
Let's say 8, 9. There you go.
Yes. I thought to myself, I won't worry with that Matchbox summer. I'll build it later, and then they went bust.
I see from that video I saw earlier, Revell are releasing the 4 1/32 scale cars they did. The Surtees, the Tyrrell, the Porsche 917, and Excalibur, was it?
Yeah.
Car. All 32nd scale. I bet that was.
To be honest, I had to have a laugh. I had to look at the 1/32 scale Matchbox Lysander.
Yes.
It's got less parts than the kit, the Airfix kit that I've built.
Yeah.
Right, Nigel, question. Those Matchbox racing cars, would you look at them the same way as you do the Italeri / Pro car things?
No.
Because they're basically the same generation.
They're much better.
You you're saying
With all
that don't
Protar
get
kits.
your hopes up too much in that case.
Sorry?
Don't get your hopes up too much, I would say.
Oh no, they're for a start, they're far simpler. You're talking about a 32nd scale car as opposed to a 12 scale car with full engine detail and suspension and everything. But from what I remember of those 32nd scale Matchbox cars, they were a joy. I've built all of them as a kid.
Yeah.
But
I guess
like, as a kid was a bit different than it is now.
Because there's a fair bit of nostalgia in play in this kind of stuff as well. If you hear someone's re-releasing an older series, that's something to keep in mind.
I look at some of the old Protar stuff, and with a nostalgic eye, and I actually went and bought a Ferrari 512, was it? I threw it away. It was in a show. It was the box was damaged. The kit had a metal body, and when you try and put it together, it was just it was like the front of a Ferrari and the back of a bloody Cortina. You know, it was terrible.
I'm just gonna jump in here because Alt's on here because he reminded me, or he mentioned something the other day. So Italeria are going to be producing the Mackie. Is it the 202 Fulgore? And you said something interesting that when they originally released it, the wings were the same size each side, but on the original plane,
the second one,
the original one wing was shorter to compensate for the takeoff. Well, you know the torque on the takeoff.
Yeah.
And we were just wondering when they release it, whether they will pick up on that in their designing and make sure that one wing's shorter than the other. We were going to bring that up, weren't we? And
or one wing longer than the other. How you look at it?
Well, if they've got the same research team on that as if they had on the Stratos, it will probably be very good because that Stratos, accuracy-wise, is very, very good.
What's the build like?
Crap. I have never spent so much time in my life filling sink marks, ejector pin marks, trying to straighten stuff. I mean, the rear arches are a joke.
That bad, yeah?
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
What they do with that rear end is disgusting for the cost of it.
Yeah. Well, as they say, you're not a proper...
James, the Delta's 179 quid, and people were moaning about the sink marks in that, weren't they?
Yeah, I've got the Delta. There's 24 ejector pin marks on the inside of the bonnet, and every one of them come through to the outside.
Fucking hell.
And I've got sink marks all over the roof. I've remanufactured all the suspension components out of metal because the plastic parts will just snap.
Don't mention the Fiat 500 to you, Nige.
Sorry?
Don't mention the Fiat 500 to you.
I've got that.
Yeah, I've got that as well. What's it like? Is it crap?
The 12 scale one. All these working parts, if you breathe on them, they snap.
I've got the 124 scale Fiat 500 I have.
Where do Italieri actually do their tooling? Not the tooling, but the injection molding then?
In-house, isn't
it? So it's all within their control.
They probably do it with Trivic Fountain.
I've heard more gossip, but you think Airfix QC is bad. But considering how many more kits Airfix sell to Italery, Italery QC is fucking awful, is what I've been told. Do you ask anyone?
I think it's a very bad reputation. You know, it's only because that's a 12 scale Stratos I bought it.
Yeah.
If they do 3.7, I'll buy it. If they do an S4, I'll buy it, and I'll moan about every single one of them.
Yeah.
The trouble is,
you're not a proper petrol head unless you've had an Italian car.
I've had loads.
It's an Alfa Romeo.
Alfa.
Yeah. Alfa Romeo. Spider.
That Stratos, you know, if they just charged half the money for it, people wouldn't be so pissed off, and they'd sell twice as many.
Yeah. But it doesn't rust.
This is it, you know. At the end of the day, Nigel, people were pissed off at the price of the Buccaneer But those who have built that Buccaneer from Airfix have said actually it's worth the money. That's what I've heard. People have really swallowed hard and thought, was it 80 quid? No, 70 quid, wasn't it? The Buccaneer.
74.99.
74.99. And those that have built it have said it's been worth every penny. So sometimes you've got to swallow that cost for your house enjoyment.
And then they continued getting one on discount as well.
That's it.
I want a second one.
That Buccaneer is a big plane, isn't it?
Graham, it's a totally different topic, but email me that, and I will. I'll put it in a future Airfix and Chill. So, if you have any questions, we started off this debate tonight because of Julian's email to me asking me about the relative cost of modelling.
So I'd like to blame everyone for it being Julian's fault.
Yeah. So if you have a subject you want us to discuss,
only joking, Julian,
email it to us and we'll do it. You know, I always look for emails, so nothing's off limit. Just go through previous editions of Airfix and Chill just in case we've already done it. But 9 times out of 10, we're always open to suggestions on, you know, what people are, people want us to discuss, because it is open platform anyway. So, but I think we've got really to the end of it. Really, we've done quite well actually on that. We've made that subject last a good 1 hour 30 minutes at least, with a little bit of other stuff thrown in. So. But yeah, anytime you want us to discuss anything, just it's better to email it to me. No, don't ask me on Instagram and Messenger because I lose it. The way to do it is to email me directly, and it's in my about section. All right. So, but it has been a good stream tonight. We've had we started off with a bit of sad news from Brett, and as I said, you know, hopefully we send positive and. We just hope
positive vibes.
Brett's wife passed away last night, quite suddenly.
Oh, no. What, suddenly?
She went in hospital last week. He emailed me saying, I won't be on the show. I've had to rush somebody to hospital. I think that's what the message was. And I, okay. And then he messaged John tonight saying that sadly she passed away this morning or last night, so he won't be in. So. But we sent out at the beginning of the show. We sent out condolences and stuff. So, if you really want to send a message to him, go to his channel, Altitude Hobbies. I think it is his channel.
High Altitude Hobbies.
High Altitude Hobbies, and leave a message there. I think also there's an email for him as well. I won't put it on here. I'll let you know, and then we'll discuss what we'll do in the future and what to. You know how he won't be around for a good month, I reckon. Then when he comes back, we'll do something. And anyway, so right. Well, we've been going for nearly 1 hour 58 minutes. Is there anything else you want to quickly ask us? Quickly do that in the chat, and we'll quickly answer it. But have you enjoyed it tonight, Ian and Dirk, for the first time? You've come on.
Yeah. I was going to say I was a bit dubious about the setup with the camera and everything. I got it going in the end. So, now I see how the format works. Then I'd probably contribute a bit more in future. Then,
brilliant. It's been good to have you. It's always nice to have new people in and talk to people and stuff. And as I said, we try to. The idea is that. You know, we try and showcase each other off so that you can go back to their channels. And if you enjoy what they've said, you can go back to their channels and subscribe to them. Remember, subscribe to each of us is completely free. Yeah. And, you know, it's always good to share the wealth. But anyways, I think that's it. I've got nothing much more to add, really. Is everybody all cool with that? And we're going to say our goodbyes. We'll say goodbye to Dottie as well. But to James, to John Alec, to Ian, to Dirk, to Alex, to John Parker, to Nigel, to Zan. Thank you so much for
and Dottie.
And Dottie. Don't forget Dottie. And we will see you next Monday. Have a good one, folks. Take care and happy modelling.
Bye.